What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You dead meat!
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
I'm James. We're married. We like to get scared together.
Yes, and Grussel's here as always. This is not hot sauce summer anymore.
Nope. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Because a lot of movies came out while we were talking about that 20-year-old franchise.
Yeah, while we were locked in the Saw bathroom. A lot of really good movies came out.
And I think next episode after this, we'll do this big overview, kind of a lightning round review of all the various horror movies that came out, just so you could get our thoughts on a lot of movies. But we did want to highlight one in particular. I believe this is probably our favorite that came out over the summer, at least. Mm-hmm. And it's Weapons by filmmaker Zach Cregger, who previously gave us Barbarian.
Yes.
So Weapons came out, big hit. It just crossed the $250 million global box office intake. Fantastic work. Huge kudos for that. On what did I say the budget was? 40?
40, I think.
Not bad.
Jeez,
Not bad. This man has a blank check.
Yeah, this movie's fantastic. I thought I would come into this episode, because we've seen it twice, and I thought I would come into it with like a better, because I was like, okay, I need to give myself a day to like really think about it and kind of, you know, read director interviews and put together my thoughts. And I thought I was going to have a day of clarification of like, okay, I'm going to have some more unified thoughts after digging into this. But instead, my eyes just went kind of cross-eyed. And I found myself getting more frustrated by digging into it than I thought that I was going to. So I just, at a certain point, just gave up and was like...
Well, it's because he intentionally has been leaving a lot of it ambiguous. He's not giving answers. He did a Last Podcast on the Left interview where they, you know, even asked about the floating gun, which is a big thing that people have questions about. And he's like, I don't want to give anything away. Or he's just like, I don't even know, man. I just had that idea and there it is. I put it in there.
Which is totally fair. And like, I like when a filmmaker doesn't spell out every single thing about a movie. I don't find that nearly as fun to engage with. And, you know, I think it's enough that he's told us that it's a really personal movie. Yes. And I think that gives us enough to work with, you know, because, you know, knowing him as a director, knowing his past work, his professional relationships, his creative partners, like there's certain things you can read into that I think are really present here. And that's definitely a jumping off point. And there are other things that he said that are inspired by his personal life that this film is kind of dealing with. But I think I was just starting to get really frustrated. It wasn't any fault of like the film, but it was more like the online conversation of like, we must all figure out what every single little thing means instead of maybe just discussing it as like a broader whole. You know, like, what does the movie make me feel? Like, how do I, you know, as like one big story instead of, I don't know. I think we're all getting lost in the weeds a little bit.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I spent about 5 minutes today looking stuff up.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple things of like that kind of stuff of like everything has to be something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm done with this. Like,
yeah.
I just feel like how people read films has become so broken by the internet. And everything has to have a right and wrong answer.
Right.
And that's where I get frustrated because, like, maybe it doesn't. And I saw, I didn't watch all that Last Podcast interview, but I saw another interview where, is it Krieger or Cregger?
Cregger, yeah.
Cregger mentioned, like, David Lynch and Transcendental Meditation, and, like, sometimes images are just images. And, like, I really like that. And, like, even just listening to your little explanation of, like, well, that's a very auteurist read of the film and like approaching it from that lens. How does the movie hit you? Mm-hmm. You know, like what do these images mean to you? That's how I viewed the movie, and I really loved it.
And different people watch movies in different ways, obviously. Yeah. And I know that some people really need things to all make sense and be literal. And there are points in this movie that if you really want to nitpick about like why it wouldn't make sense for it to go down the way it did, or the realism of cameras, police work, investigations, believability, all that. Like, if that truly prevents you from enjoying the movie, that's your experience. To me, it's I just feel bad that you can't kind of just like let some of that stuff go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not saying like turn your brain off. It's a movie. Like,
it's not turning your brain off. It's meeting a movie where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because like, I don't know if you know this, but in 2025, it's real hard to make a movie completely make sense with conflict and mystery given the proliferation of technology all around us, phones, internet, cameras. It's almost impossible to do it. Every script that you're going to try to write or read, there's always something about why reception's not working on the phone, because it's just so hard to make that conflict work in the modern world. So for me, this movie has such interesting themes, is so entertaining throughout, is funny, is scary, that like, oh, would the cops have figured out what was going on sooner? I mean, I think that's debatable, but if that's your if that's your sticking point, that's fine for you. I just feel bad for you. I'm not trying to say that as like a condescension, like, oh man, I feel bad you can't, but like, it is a little sad if that's the hang up, as opposed to just, like you said, meeting a movie where it's at and enjoy. And I'm not saying this movie's you can't criticize it, obviously. Anyone can find anything wrong or say something doesn't work for them, but for me, I really love the balance of tones. I know that the marketing, which was very successful, heavily contributed to the box office take. I think it was a combination of the marketing and then word of mouth after people actually went and saw it, because the legs on this thing have been fantastic. I know the marketing focused on the scary aspect, the horror aspect. And personally, that's why I don't watch trailers or let the marketing that I know is being done in a way to sell tickets set up my expectations too much for what a movie's going to be, because if I had, maybe I would be disappointed that this movie wasn't the scariest thing. We were talking a little bit about like because I've seen people say this isn't a horror movie.
That's
False.
crazy to me.
That's just crazy.
It's crazy. They're like, oh, it's a dark comedy. It's very funny. Yes,
is funny,
it's hilarious,
yeah.
and I love that about it. I think it's also got a lot of really good scares in it that like have made me yell.
Oh, yeah.
In the theater, even on the second viewing, just like, fuck.
I yelled in the theater at one of the jump scares, and you guys and Erica started laughing at me.
Yeah. it's fun. It's such a fun thing to
scared
happen.
me.
That's the best feeling, though,
Yeah.
is a big scare in a theater and everyone nervously laughs together after.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
great.
the best feeling of I'm connecting with these people I don't know around me. I love that feeling.
But we were talking about like if any humor makes you write something off as not a horror movie, it's really going to narrow your definition of the genre to stuff like, I don't know, I guess The Descent, It Follows is pretty much just scary, no humor. But even like, I still think Smile 2 is one of the scariest movies I've seen in recent years, and that's also very funny.
You have to horror and humor, like, as much as often horror comedies don't necessarily work for me, they're not like my favorite most of the time. This does. I think it's super funny, but like horror and humor, like for a horror movie to work, you necessarily have to think horror is funny. Even if it's a totally serious movie, you have to find some kind of macabre humor in death. You know what I mean? Like, you have to find death not so sacred that you're willing to recreate it and put it on film. Like, there has to be, like, every horror movie, I think, even if it's 100% serious, there is something, like, at least embedded in the process of making it. If it's like a really serious movie, you're laughing while you're making it because it's so serious and heavy that you'll go crazy if you know what I mean? Like, humor and horror, like, you can't really, it's hard to separate them, I think.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the absurdity of contradictions.
Right.
Like, there's this macabre comedy to life in general.
Yeah.
As we experience it, there's going to be where you laugh through uncomfortable things, and if we're trying to reflect the lived experience of humanity through this art form, then it has to reflect that same element, you know?
Yeah. I think The Monkey really went for that.
Yes.
That's what that was trying to
Yes.
talk about. Oz Perkins is The Monkey.
Yeah,
earlier
where
this year.
it's if you don't laugh, you go crazy kind
Yeah,
of thing. Because
exactly.
life is so randomly horrible. And the most awful shit happens, and it It comes out of nowhere, and if you don't laugh at it, if you don't take a moment to laugh at it and have that power over it.
And Zach Kreger is going to know this better than most people,
Right.
because if you're unfamiliar with his work, besides Barbarian, which he also wrote and directed recently, he comes from a sketch comedy background. Whitest Kids You Know. They have some sketches that we quote on a regular basis.
Like, Whitest Kids You Know, I don't know how much I can like fully explain how much a lot of those sketches are just like fundamentally changed my brain.
I mean, Abe Lincoln gets quoted
Abe Lincoln
nonstop.
has been my mom.
Listen to the
even
woman,
quotes
John.
that.
Just calm down.
Yeah.
Just calm down. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up.
I think
like,
I think I showed my mom that in like the 2000s, and to this day, it is like she's still.
He's
quotes
breaking my
it.
butt.
Yeah, breaking my. No,
Don't break my
he's
butt.
hitting me in the butt.
He's hitting my butt. Don't break my butt.
Yeah, it's so he comes
Start
from
the play over. Rewind the play 5 seconds.
So he comes from a sketch comedy background, but Trevor Moore, who was a member of Whitest Kids You Know, and obviously Zach Kreger's close friend, died recently, and it was a tragic,
It was just an accident.
random accident. What, he fell off
fell.
a balcony? Like, just, and he's a little bit older than us, Zach Kreger's, like, just a tragic thing to happen. And I'm pretty sure he was writing this
Yes.
while dealing with that
Yeah.
grief, which
And-
explains a lot in this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely present in this, and we'll obviously talk about it while we're reviewing this. It can be hard reviewing something like this, and also something like The Monkey, where there are certainly things you can read into in the film that are dealing with really personal stuff that the director said, hey, I put this in here. You don't want to get too voyeuristic about it. I don't want, you don't want to like toe a line and speculate. And I do ironically think a lot of that speculation is part of the script in this, the kind of frenzy of everyone wondering what happened, what went wrong is, I think, really embedded in the DNA of this story. It's like the fallout of something like that. So, we'll talk about that, but I think there's more to it than just that. I think that's definitely a through line.
It informs
though.
it, yeah, but it's not the totality of it.
Yes. Yeah.
This
yeah.
movie has lots of different ways of reading it, lots of fun discussions to be had based on what the characters are doing, what the characters aren't doing, what they're saying, what's happening. And again, none of it is going to be the definitive right answer. That's not how art works.
I have like 3 different things that I think this movie's about. And that's what's cool about it. And I think it's what really works for me in the way that something like Nope really works for me, where there's just layers on layers, and like you peel one thing back and something else is there, and you're just kind of, it's like the sweater you start pulling and the whole thing comes loose, and like it just. It's such a cool thing. I could never write something like this. My brain doesn't work that way. We reviewed Barbarian on this podcast, and I mean, I liked Barbarian. I think we were pretty like, yeah, it's good. I wasn't like the world's biggest Barbarian fan. This movie is like, I don't know, like this did it for me.
I also prefer this to Barbarian. I think Barbarian is amazing first act. I love the second act too. And then the third act kind of loses me a bit. But this movie, I think fantastic the whole way through. It is a little bit long. It's over 2 hours. I think it's 2:10. And I remember that first time watching it being like, probably at the 90-minute mark being like, oh, I'm glad there's so much more
Yeah,
of this
me
left.
too. I think it
earns
it
that
earns the
runtime,
runtime.
which is great. And you know me, I love that 90-minute runtime. So if I'm saying that about something that's almost Marvel length, which I just 220 is in my head of what like a Marvel length movie is. But this is nearly that, and I still love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Anything else before we start jumping in with spoilers, Gressel? For anyone who maybe hasn't seen it quite yet and is going to pause it and go watch it, hopefully.
I will say, as the novice, I will say that I loved this movie. This is another, you guys are batting 1,000 again still of recommendations for you can handle this.
And Erica came with us.
Erica came with us.
I was so proud of her because she was really nervous to see it.
She
in
was. She
theaters.
was really nervous because like you guys said, the marketing, the trailer, this movie, we've seen the trailer a bunch before, before other movies and stuff. the trailer makes this movie look intense.
Yes.
The premise on paper sounds really intense. There's nothing about this that without, word of mouth recommendation screams comedy. But like, nonetheless, it's still, even taking that lens, it looked intense, but it looked of such quality. And like Julia Gardner's amazing, and Roland's amazing, and like
Yeah, the cast is great.
yeah, the cast
really,
is
really
great.
good.
So if you have not seen this movie, big recommend. Big recommend.
I would love to read like kind of a retrospective on like the marketing of this and Longlegs compared to each other, and then the audience responses to both of them, because they both, I feel, have a similar contrast between their marketing versus what the actual thing was.
Yes.
But I
There are
feel
deltas
the
there.
responses were different.
Yeah, I think people felt more...
To bring up Oz Perkins one more time.
I mean, you can't not. Dude has Keeper coming out, and then
Keeper looks so good.
and then his next one just got announced too. He's making a fourth movie within like the span of 2 years or some shit. The man is crazy. He's trying to catch up to Flanagan.
I was about to say he's doing a Flanagan speed run. Like him, guys like him, Flanagan. I'm trying to think of other people where it's like if they don't stop working, I think they're like little sharks. Yeah, you're also if you don't stop working, you'll just sink.
But yeah, great stuff. And with the marketing things, I feel like with Longlegs, people felt kind of bamboozled maybe, and had a kind of negative reaction to the difference between the marketing and the film. Whereas with Weapons, some people felt that way and were like, what the fuck? It wasn't sold to me as a comedy. But I think overall, judging by its box office, I mean, Longlegs did well too. But I think Longlegs did better up front because of the marketing. This movie, marketing got it the up front, and then the word of mouth carried it along.
It's so funny because they are so weirdly similar when you think about it. Those
Longlegs
movies
is weirder.
They're good. They'd be a good double feature because they're both movies that are dealing with like the terror of like being a kid and not being able to trust adults around you in some sense, and then this weird adult that shows up, and manipulates other adults around you.
That's the other thing. Weapons gives us another iconic character.
Another bombshell has entered the villa. Oh my god. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we got a Rumble participant.
Oh, she's
a
obvious.
survivor.
I cannot wait. She might be the first one I make testing out. I still haven't downloaded that.
Oh, you should get on
game.
that.
I know, I
Maybe
gotta get on that.
give her a shot.
Yeah, the hair is gonna be the hardest part because I guarantee that WWE did not design a wig that for me to give her the little micro bangs. I don't know.
The micro bangs. Oh no.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We might have to do her little turban.
yeah.
Which-
She's got some looks.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing on the marketing, I'll say, since there was some backlash you said against it's the scariest movie, whatever. If you're not like a big horror fan, this movie is scary. I was scared for most of this movie. I was on the edge of my seat, scared.
The edge of your teeth.
I was on the edge of my teeth.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I was on the edge of my teeth the whole first half. Well, we went to the advanced screening, so we had I had avoided most trailers. I'd seen the posters, and we didn't have any.
Yeah, when Chelsea and I saw it, it was at a screening that Zach Kreger introduced it and said we were the first ones to see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It was really cool.
It was like a Regal theater. It was like a full auditorium of but it was awesome.
Cool. He was like, "You're the first people to see it.
Hope you like it."
And I was fucking terrified that first half because it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yes.
Weapons begins with a voiceover from a little girl saying this is a true story from 2 years ago. I like the little girl's narration.
I do too.
Feels like a real little kid talking. Mm-hmm. Talking to her friends. Like at a sleepover, maybe telling their local stories about what happened. Mm-hmm. But the adults and grown-ups are covering it up. But it's what the trailers all showed the premise was. One night at 2:17 a.m., a whole classroom of third graders just ran out of their houses. Just Naruto ran away from their homes.
Yeah, well, they're running. Their pose is like it's the girl in the photo, the Vietnam.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, which is
So like an interesting to sit and thinking. I was thinking about her in that photo a lot and just about that choice. Did you notice that visual?
I had
nod
that
at all?
thought, but to me, like that's an iconic picture.
Yes,
like I'm a history buff,
Yeah.
but I didn't really connect it beyond just the imagery of it
I
as
think
like
he
a
said-
startling image.
Yeah.
Because that little girl was, they were fleeing from napalm, right?
Yes.
In Vietnam?
Yeah, and she suffered burns. She's still alive.
I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought she's still alive.
She grew up and really crazy life story if you feel like reading more about her. I think she had to flee Vietnam when she was an adult because I think she was used as like propaganda for the Communist Party there as like a look, like she was a walking like example of what was
look what the imperialists did.
Yeah, so I think I forget where she ended up moving to, but I know that she does a lot of charity work for children, like child war refugees. She's an interesting. I'm not an expert, but I was just learning.
I wonder if anyone's asked her about this movie.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I was trying to think like how she specifically kind of ties into the themes of this, and there was something on and to be fair, I was reading just like the Wikipedia because there was so much I was reading so much shit about this movie yesterday.
And for anyone who doesn't know, because we got kids here, there's a picture of kids fleeing part of Vietnam after it being
I
napalmed.
forget which city in Vietnam, but it's like a village in Vietnam, and it's a photo of kids. It does look like the weapons poster.
Their arms are kind of outstretched.
Yeah,
like that.
and in the foreground is this girl who like she's lost all her clothes because she's burning. It's like it's napalm burn, so she's naked, and it was this whole controversy of like, do we release this photo because it is a naked child, and so
that's the least disturbing
so
part of it all.
She definitely, I think, was the big kind of centerpiece of this debate of like, war photography as well. Like, when is it okay to depict children intervening? There were debates over, okay, if we publish this photo, do we blur the nudity? Do we release it as is? Stuff like that. So not only is so in so many ways, this child is used, or it becomes like an object in like other people's stories, right? She becomes the centerpiece of a government's story. She becomes the centerpiece of this debate about war photography, and she even has said since as an adult, like, I was traumatized. She has said she was more traumatized by the years growing up being known as the girl in this picture than she was by the actual event.
Jesus.
Which is really interesting and makes me think like that is a deliberate kind of choice to emulate her in terms of this pose.
Just because so much of this movie and the conflict within it is dealing with the fallout rather than the event itself.
Yes, the fallout of an event rather than the event itself, and the weaponization of people, children,
images.
Yeah.
Yeah. So almost an entire third grade class did that, except for one Alex Lilly, quiet
cutest
boy,
little boy. He's so cute.
a sad boy.
Yeah. This is such like the most Steven Spielberg little kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's perfect.
Yeah, he's meeting aliens in his backyard.
Yeah, for sure.
And so obviously the cops question him. The cops question the teacher, Justine. Is it Gandy or Candy?
Gandy.
Gandy.
Like a Gandy dancer.
Oh. Okay.
That's all I thought of.
Yeah.
Like a railroad worker.
But no one figures anything out, and after a month, the school was closed for a month, but after a while, they had to open them back up to learn again. Definitely made me think of COVID.
Yeah.
School was closed, but like, hey, kids need to learn. Got to open that school back up, even if it's tragic or traumatic for them. Those other kids need to be learning.
Yep.
And then we get hit with a big ole Justine card because this movie is formatted in almost a Pulp Fiction style way.
Yeah, or Magnolia. He is cited as a influence as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
Where it's different sections of the film focus on different characters, complete with title cards for them. There's play with the chronology of it all. One section will start before the previous section had ended. There's overlap. I find that really enjoyable for the most part. The first time I watched it, I think on the third and fourth cuts to the title cards, I was like, okay, it felt almost like it was stalling the momentum. We would get really into a character, things would happen, and then it would.
That way.
It would
I was like, yes, we get to know like what.
the second time
Yeah.
watching it, I did not have that same complaint. The first time I was like, damn it, I just wanted to know more about what was about to happen, and then we're cutting to, and then we're jumping back. I think what helps is that whenever there is overlap, almost no time is spent on it. There's just enough shown to let you see what that overlap is, to let you see the other perspective from that same scene from the other character, and then it moves on. Or it's used to a humorous effect, as we can discuss later.
It didn't bother me. I enjoyed it. I like for the reasons that you said. Like we didn't belabor any points. Even though I felt the same thing you felt of like, oh shit, we're stopping now. I kind of liked that breath that gave.
Oh, sure.
And the kind of like the it's like a build and release, and I liked that feel that it gave.
And I think it was well paced too. The first two, which are Justine and Archer, Josh Brolin's character, those are longer, meatier. They're kind of the main characters, more emotional. And then you get some kind of more comedic ones with Paul and James, and then you start to get the more revelatory ones with Marcus, and then Alex is at the end, which is the longest, maybe. And the most revelatory for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know if that was scripted? If it was always intended to be like that, or if that was something that came about later?
I have
Had
to
to have
assume.
been
I have to assume that was in the DNA from the
script,
start, for sure. Oh, and by the way, I did see some confusion on like people were like, "Oh, I wonder what it would have looked like if Jordan Peele had gotten it and directed it." He wasn't trying. Zach Kreger was always going to direct it. He just wanted to produce it under Monkey Paw Productions because I just saw some confusion about that. But
The opening too, I just want to talk about really quick with all the kids running. I love the song.
yeah, it's a Harrison song. I wasn't familiar with this. George
Or is
Harrison.
it? Oh, I thought it was Harry Nilsson.
No, Harry Nilsson is what
that's
she
the
plays
one
on her
she's
phone.
playing on her
Yeah.
phone.
Later, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know this song, but I could, if you had asked me, I definitely would have said, oh, Beatles type music. It's because it's the Beatles, George Harrison from 1970. So like, what was this? Like one of his first singles?
All Things Must Pass. Was a double album. His first album.
Okay.
He had a shit ton of songs like ready to go. So he had the first #1 album for Beatle post Beatles.
Ooh, because that would have come out same year
Would
as
that
Let It Be.
have
He had it
been?
ready to go.
When did that guy try to kill him? When was that? That was later, right?
Probably later.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an assassination attempt on Harrison.
Yeah. Dude, he almost died. It's crazy.
And then he did.
And then he did.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well.
That's the biography for Beatle George Harrison.
Yeah. Beatles went to India,
Almost died, then he did.
almost died, and then he did. That's right.
So yes, Justine is our first segment of the film. Justine as played by Julia Gardner. So happy for her in this movie
Me
because
too.
we got to meet her in person.
I was gonna say one because she's a nice lady.
She was that was during our set visit to the Wolfman in New Zealand.
I liked her a lot.
Liked her a lot. Really loved talking to her. You can see my interview with her. I got to interview her, and she was great in person. And she's saying that Madonna biopic is still happening.
Really?
Where Madonna handpicked her
so
to
cool.
play Madonna, which is holy shit.
Yeah.
But then we saw Wolfman and didn't love the movie, and I didn't love her in the movie either. And we only saw it the one time, so maybe I would feel different. But I remember being like, oh, I expected more just because of how nice she was, and I heard she's great in Gressel. You said as a very young actress in Americans.
In the Americans, she's very young as like a guest role, and she's incredible.
And then Ozarks is what she's known for, but I've never seen that. So I was a little let down there, and then here I was like, oh, this is what everyone's talking about. She's so good in this.
Yeah.
And I love the character, Justine.
I love this character.
All these characters are messed up.
Yes.
Justine, no less.
I love all these characters. I just love all these fucked up adults in this town. There's this through line in this movie of parasites, which
Yes.
I think everyone's kind of picked up on because it's all over the like classroom, like the bulletin boards, and there's like artwork where it's like I don't know why, like what grade was it?
Third.
they're learning
they're
about
8
like
years
whale
old.
I guess maybe you can learn about whale parasites and you're maybe
Yeah.
learning about like
Symbiotic
and
relationships.
parasitic and yeah, okay, sure.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Marcus and his partner are watching a nature documentary about ants and
Yeah.
parasites later. And then, I mean, we're in the spoiler section. Gladys is a parasite.
Yes.
She shows up very frail, weak, and she has to sap the life and energy out of first the parents and then the children.
Yes, but I think it's so interesting that all these adults in this are, I think, versions of adults that in some way or another we collectively view as maybe parasitic. Not me personally, but just culturally, there is some kind of attitude towards them as they are a drain on society. Like Justine, for an example, is a single childless woman. She's an alcoholic. She is sleeping with a married man.
Homewrecker, yep.
She maybe is she's simultaneously too involved and not involved enough with the kids that she is teaching, according to these parents. It's like she's too involved when it comes to, she loves these kids and wants, she cares about what's going on at home. And that's, she's sticking her nose where it doesn't belong, but these kids all go missing, and it's like, what does she know? Like, why didn't she do anything to stop it, kind of
how
thing?
How could you not see what was happening that led to this?
There's no winning for her, and I think there's also kind of a fear of teachers sometimes in general, because you send your kids off to school. What's going on?
They're getting indoctrinated.
Right. So
yeah, and she was let go or forced out of her previous job for like hugging a kid.
Yeah.
She was like, why can't I just hug?
Giving
Like,
a kid a
why
ride
can't I
home.
hug
No,
a
she
kid?
lost a previous job because of an inappropriate relationship with a faculty member.
Oh, okay.
And then she was reprimanded at this job, I believe,
at
for
this job.
hugging a
student
kid
and giving a kid a ride home.
and giving a
from
kid a
school.
ride home,
Right.
which are like things that I definitely would have, teachers would have done for me growing up.
Things that, like, in a perfect world, that should be normal.
Yeah.
That, where we all trust each other, that should be something that, you get a ride home from the teacher.
And it's the kind of thing that I think for us growing up probably would have happened. Definitely before us,
More
it could have
often,
happened.
yeah, for sure.
More often. And then it feels kind of like the same people who harken back to those days are maybe the same people who would complain about a teacher doing that nowadays, It's like, I don't know, it just, and kind of on brand with this, it just made me think of, there was that horrible, tragic
we were
story
just
out of
talking
Houston
about this the
a
other
week
night.
ago where a kid who was doing doorbell ditch or ding dong ditch got shot by the guy who was
heard about
annoyed
that.
by it, and the kid died. It's like an 11-year-old. And when the story initially came out, before details happened, I think just the premise of that is enough to be like, that guy's fucked up for shooting a kid. He shot him in the back while the kid was running away. There were comments under that news story of people being like, kid fucked around and found out, or like, you shouldn't like disrespect people or prank them like that. Like, it was bound to happen. And it just, I feel like the people leaving those comments are the same type of people to be like, kids don't play outside anymore these days. Kids don't drink from the hose anymore.
Right.
And it's just like, what do you want? There's such a
never
contradiction.
any winning, right?
Yeah. I don't know. That's just kind of these thoughts that are occurring to me with these characters and themes.
Yeah, it's like not knowing. It's a weird thing culturally. I feel like it drives me kind of nuts about. Living in the United States, and we don't have kids, but I like kids. I like hanging out with kids. Like, I like being around kids. Our friends have kids. They're fun. Like, they're such funny little people that I don't know. I just like being around them. And I personally always loved the idea of like it takes a village kind of thing. We're all, because it's the cliche of like the kids are the future kind of thing, but it's an investment in eventually those are the people that are taking care of you when you're older, even if they're not your kids. Those are the youth that will grow up and eventually take care. It's I just feel like we all have to, it's a social contract, you know. I think that there's a lot of that going on here too, where it's like parents not trusting teachers, teachers not trusting parents, and then kids just like getting caught up in the middle of all of it.
Yeah, and you have Josh Brolin's character who at this assembly where they're gathered to talk about how they feel or whatever, however the narration phrases it, which is really fun.
Teaching him how to be sad.
Yeah. And he's blaming Justine for it. And, he winds up following her home, writing witch on her vehicle in a foreshadowing of the actual witch who will show up later. And then later we learn that he was never a present enough parent to tell his son that he loved him. And this kid who he's like so angry about how he's gone missing and is out there searching for him, turns out that kid's a little piece of shit.
Yeah, that kid's a shitty kid.
A little bully who picks on Alex. So it's like, dude, you say that you're, an invested parent and you're pissed off about your kid gone missing, but your kid was a little piece of shit. You should have been there for him when he was there.
Right.
And helped raise him better, as opposed to just making that responsibility the schools, which the principal, Marcus, talks to Justine later and says that she's a teacher, not a parent, or what does he say? She is not, when she has a sweater with a giant heart, like she cares too much.
Right. Yeah, it's just like the not knowing what to do with kids. It's like passing kids around to other adults. And kids even feeling like they have to themselves take care of the adults in their lives, which this movie gets a lot into as well, particularly with Alex. And it's something that Zach Kreger has said that this is also a movie that's about that stuff in his personal life that has made its way to the movie, that this movie's a lot about addiction.
Yeah, because he talked about his dad died of cirrhosis, right? Of the liver.
Did he?
I think so, but his dad was an alcoholic, and he was talking about how he would have to go to school, live a normal life, and then come home to a, angry or drunk father. And, I not with the anger part, but I can relate a bit to that. And you can see that in the film later as Alex is having to endure like normal days at school and then come home to this horrible
and go
home
to the
life.
Grocery store,
Yes.
Clean, feed
take
his
care
parents.
of these parents who, they're under a trance in this film, but a lot of actual children have to do this or similar things for parents who are either like medically incapable of taking care of themselves or substance abuse and are unable to take care of themselves or the children, and they're having to, it's the kids who are forced to grow up early.
Yes, yeah.
Which happens to Alex here. And I love that Justine, for as troubled as she is, she's buying 2/5. Why not just get a handle, girl? It'll be cheaper.
I had that same thought. I had that same thought. Like, what are you doing?
And not only that, she buys the booze and then she still goes to a bar too, paying those bar prices.
This is the thing that bothered me. All the like plot holes and shit.
Not on a teacher's salary. I don't think so.
Right, exactly.
So for all her faults, she's still a really good teacher that obviously cares. She notices that Alex is being quieter than usual when she's talking to him. Maybe she should have noticed that the fucking name tags were off the cubby holes, but whatever. She was so focused on Alex and trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And I think that that's a nice contrast to later when the cops do a home visit and they see him and they're just like, oh, he's quiet, huh? And like they just write it off as a like whatever thing to ignore, whereas she's like, okay, he's quiet. Why? What's the matter
And
here?
teachers are often the one, like teachers are trained to spot things like that. Like, oh, a student's coming in, their clothes are maybe not so clean. They're certain markers of things that signal a pattern of either neglect, abuse. There's a lot put on teachers that they are expected to take care of. And
now they got trained with firearms too.
That too, I guess. Do we want to talk about that aspect of this movie? I mean, it's
yeah. I mean, you
whether
know what?
it's there or
I'm
not.
less interested in going like through a beat by beat of this movie and just more interested in talking about themes as they come up.
I think that's a better way to talk about this movie, honestly.
Yeah, like we can get back to what's happening in the plot, but if something takes us somewhere, that's fine.
Yeah.
School shooting aspect is a much discussed, but I think little understood and maybe almost over discussed. I don't know. It's an aspect of this movie.
It's something that he said is not really what this movie's dealing with. I mean, if he says it's not, then like it's not. I think it's a valid read of it, especially when there's a giant floating gun. I don't know what kind of gun.
AR-15, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the school shooting thing is there, again, I think it's more just it's yet another thing that kids specifically, like kids more so than other people in the United States, have to worry about day to day, and have to like it's something that makes kids grow up so much faster here.
Yeah. And yes, for anyone about to leave a comment or who's thinking it, statistically, these kids, I guess, don't have to or shouldn't. I won't even say that. I can't even say that in air quotes. Worry about it happening, because it is still super rare in a country of 350 million or whatever, but still happens enough to where that fear is real and that concern is real for parents and kids.
It happens enough for kids to see that shit on the news how many fucking times a year, you know what I mean? Like, that'll, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Like, even if you can say whatever about the statistics of it, the proliferation of it in the media and the comparison of how much it happens here compared to elsewhere is enough to make any parent have that on their mind all the time. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's just, I think you can definitely read the, like, it's less like, I think this movie's dealing with school shooting stuff. It's less like, okay, why does it happen? And more so like, what happens after a school shooting happens. It's like, I mean, you can't ignore the imagery of like a classroom of missing children, a bunch of angry, confused parents
who don't know what to blame,
who are all pointing fingers, and there's one kid that we're all suspicious of. What's his deal?
He was bullied.
Right. So I think there's like a little bit of that there, but I think it's more like how school shootings fit into like the bigger kind of picture of what this movie's doing. It's not just about that.
Yeah, my read of we're talking about the gun.
Yeah.
Like my read of that was, because that's in Archer's segment.
Yes.
It's in his dream sequence that he sees that. And my interpretation of that was an attempt to explain something unexplainable. That we're in Archer's brain, we're in his dream. It's, Gladys's magic, whatever.
He follows where his kid goes and comes out of the trees, and it's his house again,
back
right?
to his house.
It's back to his house again.
The gun is over his house, where his kid is.
The gun is over his house, where his kid is or was or is supposed to be. And my read of the gun is that the gun is an explanation. The gun would be an answer, and he's searching when he's running through the woods, he's searching. He's searching for an explanation. He's literally searching for where his son is, but he's searching for an explanation. And the gun is an answer. And I think that when you're talking about like the school shooting conversation writ large, for one explanation of that issue is guns are the answer. There's a million interpretations, whatever. But I think that what you're trying to do and what you're invoking with that image, you're invoking school shootings, you can't not be. But you're invoking this attempt to rationalize something that is irrational, and an attempt to make real something that is intangible. This grief, this loss is not something that can be explained even by guns kill people, whatever. That doesn't matter to the people who lose their children, And I think that that's what that is trying to say, is that this is not a school shooting thing. This is not as simple as that. This gun doesn't make any sense here. You're not going to find any answers. So the absurdity of it is intentionally drawing attention both to the fact that this is referencing school shootings and it's not referencing school shootings. And I think that the contradiction of that and the duality of it and the kind of almost oxymoronic nature of that just hammers home the fact that the real issue here is an unexplainable loss. And there is no answer, no matter what this is really about. That void is going to remain, and Archer is never going to fill it.
Yeah. Like, if something like that happens to you, okay, becoming one of a number of people something happens to. It's like, okay, you can explain to me all day why something like that happened, but ultimately it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It also clues them into, I mean, I think I kind of thought of how a bullet leaves a gun and goes on a straight trajectory, which is how he finds the circle of interest.
Yeah, an archer with like an arrow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think of that. And also, it just makes him think of how the kids were weaponized, which is kind of the basis of the title of the film. And he says that later about Marcus, how he was turned into a weapon, like a heat-seeking missile, locked in on Justine. So.
Yeah. So I think that clues him into like what, Gladys's whole end game is, or like where both the kids and the adults have gone, the missing adults, or like what's going on with them. I do want to point out, I love the set deck in this movie. It's really, really awesome. Like all the different like bedrooms and like just little living spaces, and everyone there's so many little desks in this movie, like teachers' desks, the principal, the sheriff. There's just so many little knickknacks that you could just pause and look at, and everything just feels so deliberate. It really feels like set deck was given such a rundown of each character, and everything is placed with such care. One detail I love about Archer's kind of dream sequence is that his son's bed has Batman sheets.
Yeah.
And I love, because then Archer becomes the Batman. He's the vigilante. He's the one who's the detective. He's like putting it together. Like he's the fucking Dark Knight of I forget what the town is called. I just think that that's kind of a cute like visual nod to like what his story is. I also noticed there's tons of people have picked up on there's lots of plant symbolism where Gladys is concerned, but I haven't seen too many people mention the like animal symbolism going on with like pretty much all the other human, like the other characters in this, which I think is really cool, and it's such a cool contrast to Gladys. I don't know if we want to keep going or we can revisit that. Well, I just think it's we talked a little bit about like the whales in the classroom, so like that's a big one. That one kind of sticks out because it's just this huge board in the back. It's kind of hard to miss. But I noticed that like particularly when we see people's desks in this movie, there's always an animal. There's always something. The principal has a hear no evil monkey, which is great because he's always getting phone calls from Justine where she's like, oh my God, she's like, hey, no, something actually fucked up is going on. And he's like, I don't know. He's kind of always coming up with reasons why he's like, look, I'm just going to pretend that this didn't happen. I'm just, I don't want to make this into a bigger deal than it needs to be, kind of thing. I really like that one. I think that's a cute one. I like that Justine's got she's got a big rubber duck on her desk that I noticed. I feel like she's the rubber duck teacher, I just feel like the kids like her and probably bring her gifts and stuff. That's such like a little kid thing to do.
Yeah.
Is bring her presents. The sheriff has a big, like a horse with a cowboy on it, but it's all these animals. If you look for it, it's like, it just feels so intentional. It feels just like Marcus and his partner's house. I lost count of how many little tchotchkes. And even Gladys points out, you've got this giraffe. She loves it. They've got squirrel salt and pepper shakers. They've got a goose. They've got all kinds of shit.
Got mice on their shirts.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And I love that because to me that drives home even more how much of a contrast Gladys is to everyone else and how I just don't even think she's human. And it's so creepy. I think that adds to the creepiness because to me it hints that like everyone else, every other human in this movie is truly human. They are all kind of represented by, they're either like wearing animals on their shirts. Alex has his little backpack with sharks all over it, which I do also think is a hint to his kind of involvement in the whole thing. He's like the shark in the school of fish kind of thing, He's secretly the predator and like no one realizes it, but he's kind of wearing this visual clue the whole time. That backpack is always like right there in frame when we're following him around. But then, yeah, Gladys and even Alex's house, looks so different than all the other interiors. It's like all this really outdated floral wallpaper. It reminds me of my friends' houses from like the early 90s. It's all these like kind of chalky florals, all the
So many cabinets and hutches. full of
yes, oh my
things.
god, hutches, like crazy bread boxes and hutches. It's so dated and awesome. Like the bowls and stuff all have like vines and floral. There's fake plants, and it's such a visual contrast to every other living space in this movie, and it really works so perfectly as Gladys's weird little domain. Even though it's not her house, it might as well be.
Yeah, she takes it over.
It's her lair, yes. Hey, want to talk to you about our sponsor, Rocket Money. Everybody knows there are things they can do to reduce monthly costs and improve their finances. But who has time to go through all of their expenses and decide what to trim? Lucky for you, Rocket Money takes the guesswork out of it so you can easily make smart decisions. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Their dashboard lays out your total financial picture, including bill due dates and paydays, in a way that's easy to digest. You can even create custom budgets based on past spending. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save and then go to work to get you better deals. They'll talk with customer service so you don't have to. Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter our show name Dead Meat Podcast in the survey so they know I sent you. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell them you heard about them from our show, please.
This episode is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And now, during their Red Hot Sale event, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code DEADMEAT at checkout. Makes sense, code DEADMEAT for some good dead meat. We got some delicious fillets from them, and Gressel taught me how to sous vide them. That's cooking them in like a little temperature-controlled bath while they're vacuum sealed. It's really good. And you just sear them. Oh man, I love fillets. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. Grass-fed, grain-finished beef has more marbling for exceptional flavor and is the choice of steakhouses and professional chefs around the world. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and delectable desserts, which is great for Chelsea because she doesn't eat red meat. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code DEADMEAT at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code DEADMEAT at checkout. See site for details. Not to get, again, too tangential with another thing, but there was something the first time we saw this movie that you noticed, that you said not a lot of people had commented on. I don't know how much, if you learned more about it.
I tried digging into it. I wasn't totally sold on my
there's just
initial
imagery around
observation.
here, and it's literally the first thing you see in the classroom when Justine walks in during that intro, when you're still getting the narration about what happened. You see on the board, it's talking about India in 1948.
Yes, it's so in the foreground.
Is that the partition?
That was the partition was 47.
Okay.
Independence is 48. But
Yeah.
yes.
And that number shows up
That number shows up a couple times. It's
on an address.
It's I at first thought it was, I'm glad we saw this a second time, because I at first thought it was Alex's house address. It's not. It is the house address of Matthew's classmate, where Archer goes. It's Justin Long's house.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it is like, bam, it's like right there on the door.
Yeah.
It's just very bold, and so I noticed it a second time. And that's when I made note of it when we saw it, that early screener. And then I noticed it a third time when we saw this movie. The second time is on the principal's desk. He's got this like set of dumbbells, and they're like even numbers, and the front two are 4 and 8. and they're just like right next to his like head the whole time. I'm like, okay, am I doing Jim Carrey in the number 23? Is this something I don't know? So then I looked up the year 1948 and then the number 217 to see if I found anything interesting. December 10th, 1948, United Nations General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That was Resolution 217.
Zach, what
Zach,
what's
is
up, man?
anything?
Was
I
that
don't know.
intentional? Was that a coincidence? Help us out, dude. Declaration of Human Rights.
If anything, it's an interesting coincidence. But I tried to do some more digging into like that, and ultimately just felt like I was going a little crazy, and it wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, I'm really vibing with this. It was like I'm
forcing it.
Yes, I was like, I'm putting a square peg in a round hole kind of thing. But if anyone else has any thoughts on that, I just thought it was like just something that visually stuck out to me, and I couldn't shake it.
It recurs enough to make you wonder. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Or it's Jim Carrey number 23.
Sometimes you go a little Jim Carrey, dude. When you have a movie podcast that you've been doing for 8 years, sometimes you get a little Jim Carrey with it. It's fine.
That's right.
Yeah, Justine is having a hard time at home getting her door knocked. That's Archer, right? Because he's the one who paints her car.
It's Archer, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just terrorizing her.
What a fucking dick.
I know, he's such an asshole. I love the little visual markers that Kreger leaves for us, so that when it comes back to the scene from another character's perspective, it immediately places you. I'm thinking particularly the couple walking down the sidewalk when she's scoping out if anyone's followed her or anything. You see them in her segment, and then you see it also from Archer's, and it's just a nice little like visual cue. Or like when she notices his truck sitting outside the gas station, and then we see, oh, that's him sitting out there. She's at the bar, and she calls her ex Paul. I don't know how official they used to be, but they definitely have some kind of history. He's trying to be sober, and she's making it real hard.
Yeah.
She is,
Unintended.
Man. She is just flirting up a storm here.
Does he say this first time around? Is it explicitly established like, no, I'm like sober? Because what I love about revisiting their scenes twice is like, for each of these characters, what each of their truths are.
Yeah, I love it because from her perspective, we see, she sees him at the police station, and then later she's at the bar. He shows up. They're like, can I hug? Yeah, of course you can. And then he orders his trademark Coca-Cola, delicious Coca-Cola that we will place in the middle of the camera for Alex during the police investigation, and also order at the bar. He's saying he's trying not to drink. He also says that he and Donna, who we can surmise is his wife, he's like, we're not happening right now.
We're not happening right
That's
now, yeah.
revealed to be a lie.
Yeah.
But initially we're like, okay, so he's not with his partner, and she is able to seduce him back to her place, where she plays the little Harry Nilsson song for him to get up, which is great.
We brought the Harry Nilsson thing again. Another interesting, I guess, points for people who are like, no, this movie has to be about gun control. Harry Nilsson, two things. One, famously alcoholic. I don't know if that's like, I feel like any musician flip a coin from that era, they're going to be an alcoholic. So who knows how much you can read into that. But two, he quit music for a while after John Lennon was shot and advocated for gun control.
Oh, wow.
So interesting choice. Could be a coincidence, could not be.
Yeah. I love that when we switch to Paul's segment, which is the third one, and we get the lead up to that night at the bar, you see he had a crazy day.
Yeah,
before she texted
I
me.
love this whole thing. It's so great.
Because like he's at the police station talking to his wife on the phone.
Poor Donna,
as played by is it
June
Paul
Diane
Shear's
Raphael.
wife?
Yeah,
June
Paul
Diane,
Shear's
yeah.
hot wife
Yeah.
from How Did This Get Made?
She's talking to him on the phone, and she's
Love
talking
her.
about like, I get to come home early from this work trip.
And she's
I'm gonna be
ovulating.
We can get our freak on later. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then he's just so annoyed by his wife.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because, like, mostly because she brings up, are you going to a meeting? Maybe you should. And he obviously doesn't want to go to an AA meeting. He's a recovering alcoholic, as we can gather. But it's just so funny, like, how fucking annoyed
Like,
by
oh
his
man,
wife
this
is.
bitch.
And she's, like, not even-
old ball and chain.
Yeah, and it's like such a friendly, like, even flirty
Lit-
conversation from her end.
Woman literally just sitting there.
Yeah,
so
she's,
much of this
she's
movie-
crazy. I knew
You
she was
crazy.
So much of this movie, though, is about how people respond to control.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a huge element of, I think, every single person's storyline. For Justine, it's, you know, the principal, it's the parents. Like, there's so many outside forces trying to control her. For Archer, he's someone that I get the sense has control of things in his life and is used to control. And
Yes.
this is something that he cannot control. And that's a big part of his whole thing. You know, obviously for Paul, this part is his wife. James has no control over his life and is reaching for any kind of thing that he can control. Like that, I think that's a huge. And then Gladys, that's, you know, her whole thing. So I think that that's a huge element of this movie, and playing with it this way through Paul with his wife like this, who is being completely reasonable if a little bit overbearing. You know. Yeah, I think it's really
But
interesting.
who knows what led him to have to go to
That's
meetings?
true.
You know?
Like,
Sure,
like,
yeah,
what was
right.
this lead up like?
Yeah, was
yeah.
it a DUI? Was it something, you know? So she might have good cause for, like, wanting him.
I love, again, Set Deck. I love you so much in this movie.
Oh, yeah, because he walks by.
When he closes his locker, I didn't notice this the first time, but I noticed it the second time, and I loved it. When he goes into work, he closes his locker, he walks into the office, and he walks right past a giant Bourbon for the Blue poster, and it made me laugh so hard.
Like, dude, this guy is trying to be sober, and even
Yes.
at work, they're like, come get drunk.
Yep.
Also, on the note of control, an element of that's got to be hard for him is that his wife's dad is his boss, sheriff or chief of police or whatever, captain, I don't know. It's fucking Toby Huss, prolific character actor. We've seen him as he was in Halloween 2018 as the dad.
Yeah.
He was in Maxine as that coroner who showed up real quickly. He is the strongest man in the world, well, from Pete and Pete. Like, prolific character actor, always enjoyable. And in this movie too, fantastic work in his few scenes. Love this thing with him where he's like, oh, you call me old? Why would you call me old? I'm giving you shit.
I'm giving you shit.
The same delivery style of each of those lines is just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
You call me old?
No, sir. No.
Why would you call me old?
No, sir, I wasn't saying that.
I'm giving you shit.
we all know that guy.
Yeah, and you're like, come on, quit. I already feel like emasculated from you. Like, you're making me feel worse.
I love that. I'm giving you shit. I love it so much.
It's one of my favorite line deliveries.
God,
in the movie.
you know that guy loves John Wayne and Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, so I love that. In Justine's segment, she's driving Paul home or to the station or whatever the morning after, and she's not satisfied with his reaction about how work is going. She's like, oh, you're too blasé about finding these missing kids. And he points out he's not a detective, he's just a beat cop. But I think we can just, metaphorically put the cops all together, because in Paul's segment, we see that instead of like looking for these kids, doing this investigatory work that Archer's able to do as a citizen with ring cameras and his little construction flags. I love that he uses those in his investigation. But Paul is rather scoping out James, this just kind of shady looking guy in an alley.
Paul is such the type of cop who's like, I gotta get these numbers up,
Yeah.
And James is like the easiest, like. James is like, I don't know if anyone listening has watched Super Jail, but the beginning of every episode, the same prisoner gets out and is put back in jail over and over again. And I feel like that's just James. And I feel like he's just going to keep doing that to James over and over again, but count him as a different guy every time. Pump those numbers, dude. Just the town's like one criminal running around.
And I like that Paul isn't a like evil cop. He's not like
No, he's just
because like even when he tackles James, he's like, "Yo, are you all right? We went down a little hard there." Like he shouldn't have.
no. I think he's extremely realistic.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Like, it's so brilliant to have it be like a sudden turn.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
and
he gets poked.
and exactly. He fucking sucker punches that guy in the side of the head while his hands are cuffed. It is the most sucker punch ever, but it's like a snap reaction after saying, "Do you have anything sharp in your pockets?" That guy saying no, and then he gets jabbed. And I love how we can infer that Paul has a deep fear of AIDS or getting another disease from these needles because he is asking about it all the time. When he gets poked, he reacts like that. When he gets stabbed in the face later in that moment in the tent, it is like the worst thing in the world. And just his line deliveries in the car afterward when he's like, "Do you have AIDS?" And like it's just pure terror.
Yeah. Paul, I get the sense that he is like probably like so many cops were like, you know, they're not like maybe the stereotypical like, oh, just a total dirtbag, but they're the type of guy where like maybe they could have been like maybe an okay cop, but then they show that they put the fear of fucking God in them, you know? They do all that training where it's like everyone's out to fucking kill you and it makes you crazy. It makes you like into, you know, like total like hair trigger, you know? And I think that's what he's dealing with.
Because you're worried for your safety. Yes. And I mean, I guess, you know, all it takes is one time for you to not react that way and then maybe you're shot on the job. But he fucking punches James in the head and then goes into his car and is like looking at his wound and then looks up and the dash cam's there. And then he's just like, "Hey, I'm going to uncuff you and, you know, look, I did you wrong. You did me wrong. We're even. So God. Just make sure I don't see you anymore." Then he has to go back and tell his father-in-law what happened. And his father-in-law is like, "I mean, we can't do anything but hope that this footage just gets erased in 30 days. If it doesn't, you're going to be in trouble."
And this is what I mean when I talk about like all the kind of the POV characters, like the POV adults at least are like these different types of kind of parasitic, or at least like we maybe view them as like parasitic humans. Like this is a fail son-in-law who, you know, the idea of like a cop, like there's an idealized version of a cop that you want to exist, that you want to protect you, but instead you've got Paul who is not even a nepo, he's a nepo son-in-law who is able to run to daddy-in-law and be like, "I messed up, can you help me hide it?" Like, you know, that's a drain on society. That's like rot.
So this is the state he's in when he gets a text from Justine that says, "Hey." And so that is why he goes to the bar. And then I just love that it's like, so this is what happened to him that day. And it just like speed cuts through like her asking him, I forget the line, but then it cuts to them having sex.
Like that was the highlights reel for him. From his perspective, that was the highlights reel.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's why I think it's so funny, is that's all you get from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like hug, fuck, and then he's dropped back off the work.
Yeah.
And then how does his segment end? Oh, yeah, he sees James approaching the police station. It's like, "What did I fucking tell you?" And starts chasing after him.
Yeah, James who runs away like a cat.
James is so fucking funny.
Yes.
Paul, it's so hard for me to square this in my head, as is played by Han Solo.
It's Han Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich, who played Solo in Solo, was supposed to have a whole franchise. That didn't work out. But you know what? He got to be in Weapons, which is great. Apparently, the whole cast had a turnover from one process to another. Pedro Pascal was supposed to be in this, I'm assuming in the Josh Brolin role. I'm glad he didn't. You know, let's cool him off a little bit. Don't want to overexpose him. He seems like a nice guy. Don't want people to get annoyed by him. The only cast member who apparently has stuck with Kreger the whole time from beginning to end is Austin Abrams, who plays James.
Which is the funniest one for it to be.
The correct one.
Yeah.
Really.
Austin Abrams had previously been in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which we covered on this channel. He was a lot younger then, but he's amazing in this. And I guess Kreger's rewarding that loyalty because it sounds like he will be the star or a star of his upcoming Resident Evil film.
That's going to be cool.
So good for you, Austin Abrams.
Yeah.
I do love what I love your point about Archer as a guy who's clearly usually in control, and this event has totally removed that from him. He's sleeping in his son's bed. We see in just a single line that his marriage is on the rocks because of this. Because his wife just opens the door, I'm going to work, leaves without even checking in on him or anything. And then he gets to work.
Job is...
And he's fucking up at work. He ordered the wrong paint. He didn't put in an order that he needed. And he's clearly the boss here, so he's used to like being the guy in charge and the guy on top of things. So I love just like these little quick, efficient ways to show how much this has affected him and is kind of disrupting him.
Archer's segment is phenomenal screenwriting. Like the information that is communicated through completely natural, like in-world, true-to-life dialogue, true-to-life actions, like the exposition that is delivered through Archer's segment is masterfully laid out. The fact that like what kind of parent he is, he doesn't tell his son that he loves him. All this stuff comes out in like these little quick moments, and it's so brilliantly done.
Even him having that paint in the back of his truck.
Yeah.
To then
Right,
paint Witch on her car. It's like he didn't go out and buy that paint. He happened to have it, and in that moment was like,
fucking snapped.
yeah, okay, I'm gonna do that. The moment in the dream where he does say it's this very emotional moment. He finds his son in bed and he's not responsive, and he's trying to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't love you." Then we get one of the best jump scares this year.
Yeah.
This like light. It's almost like a headlight.
Dude, apparently,
passing.
I was reading an article with I think it was like the makeup team, because it was about like Gladys's look, and then they were just talking about other, like just filming the movie. And I guess that jump scare was kind of an accident, because I think that the way they had that set up was actually super complicated, because they had to switch out the kid and Gladys without like moving shit. Like it was like all like very delicate, and apparently at some point like a grip or something had like a phone light on her face, and they were like, "Oh fuck, that's so creepy," and that's why it's like all blown out like
it's
that.
so good and so scary.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
so scary. And then we get the best and funniest, I think, moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin wakes up, sits up in his son's bed, and is just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
It's the best line in the movie.
It's
so
such
good.
a good delivery.
It's so
and
funny.
what the fuck, as you said, Grussel, after we saw it, is repeated throughout the film to very humorous effect in very different ways throughout.
Yeah.
But I think that repetition has to be on purpose. I think that the choice to highlight that what the fuck specifically and then have the repetition, I really think that part of that is Kreger communicating to us as the audience that that's really what this movie's about, is what the fuck.
Yeah.
And it can just be what the fuck, and that's okay.
Yeah, like when something happens and like all you can think is just what the fuck.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Another very good scary moment, more on the creepy side rather than a jump scare, happened at near the end of Justine's segment when she's scoping out Alex's car and falls asleep. She's scoping out Alex's house and falls asleep in her car. And then there's that long zoom to the front door, which opens. I love the way whenever this front door opens, it's just black.
Yeah.
You cannot see anything
it's
in
like
it.
a big mouth. Or
Yeah,
something.
and you're just waiting for something. And then you first see like the arm that's raised in the air as Alex's mom shambles out. You don't even know who she is at this point, but she has scissors in her hands. And it's an unbroken take as it zooms back out as she approaches the car and she's shambling. There's like those strings on the soundtrack. It's very creepy. And then she gets to the car and tries the front door, right? Where Justine is passed out and it doesn't open, it's locked. So you get a little beat of humor. And then she moves on and it's like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then you just hear the back door open and the whole crowd is just like,
yeah.
And then you see the scissors as she snips her hair. It's such, I think that's all one unbroken shot.
It's
and I
so
love
good.
It.
I also love that Alex's house is like the perfect horror movie colonial house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a big fan.
And, I did notice when the kids, later we see when Gladys and Alex are standing on the front porch and the kids are all running down I did notice in Alex's neighborhood, at least, the houses on that street are a little bit further back with larger lawns. So I don't know if they all had Ring cameras, because a lot of people are like, how would none of those houses Ring cameras had caught like the kids going to that house, or and I'm just like, I don't know, man, or maybe they didn't check. I don't know. we have a Ring camera and it doesn't catch shit all the
Yeah,
time.
you don't. If you have, I feel like if you have it set up to like stuff on the street, it's like then it would just be going off all the time.
Yeah, so I'm
Then
not.
that's like
It's more about like the front porch. I feel.
yeah,
It's
like
not gonna catch like a
checking
kid
if
in the
something
street.
is there.
Yeah, and either way, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
so.
and also who cares?
Yeah, if you're trying to explain away the movie, just don't watch the movie.
I do love that when Archer is trying to figure things out on his own, he goes to the house of one of his son's classmates and he talks to the mom. And well, one thing that I thought is she answers the door and she knows who he is from around town. It's a small town, but I was thinking to myself, like, you think his handsomeness helps here?
100%.
You think you open that door and it's Josh Brolin there? I feel like you're gonna be a little bit more receptive to whatever he has to say. Like, he's a handsome man, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just
Josh Brolin is
checking in, right? Josh Brolin, a hot take, but a handsome guy. And I just couldn't help but think about that lady, like, because she almost has a look on her face when she answers the door, and I don't think it's that, but like I could almost read into it of her being like, oh hey, but no, she has Justin Long as a husband, and when she tells Josh Brolin that she's not comfortable showing him the Ring camera, he's like, okay, that's fine. Then he just waits for fuck ass dad to get home. Hits him up. It's almost like a kid asking your parent,
Yes.
oh no? Then you go and ask the other parent without telling them that the first parent said no. It's
I had that same thought, and I think that's intentional, that it's like a childish thing.
yeah. And then it cuts to Justin like showing him on the computer and the wife standing there in the doorway just like, God damn it. I didn't want this man in our house. James's segment shows us, what he was doing before Paul caught him, and I love from that phone call, you know exactly the kind of guy James is. He has a history of unreliability, of scamming people, of false promises, of no, this time for real. I need the money to get the clothes because I got the job, but I need the clothes for the job to get the money to pay back mom. And it's so funny that he is trying all these car doors, and the one that opens so he steals, it's clearly like a child's backpack.
Yeah.
It's got the iPad and the big bumper thing.
Little, headphones with little cat ears on them.
And he's like listening to them, waiting for the pawn shop to open too. James is so fucking funny. That little like the little click he does when he has a revelation. When he goes to Alex's house, which is all newspapered up, and breaks in and is looting it, and then sees his parents sitting there catatonically on the couch, which Justine had seen earlier when she looked inside. And he's terrified. And he's like, I'm sorry. And you could tell he's already cooking up like some kind of explanation for why he's there.
Oh, God, I lost.
Yeah. Oh, it was raining. I need it. But then he realizes once he's like, I don't know if he just thinks they're super high or what, gets right back to looting right in front of them.
They're not doing anything. Oh, Willow.
Willow, nice.
Yeah.
And then he sees those kids in the basement, and when he goes back to the pawn shop and sees that reward,
And it just takes him way too long, and then it finally clicks. That made me laugh so hard.
That moment of realization is so fun. And then how he tries to ensure that he will get the reward money.
It's so funny because he's telling the fucking truth on the phone. I saw, I don't know, all of them.
They're in the basement.
In this house.
Like all of them.
It's like,
so funny.
But how can I get the reward money? How can I make sure that you're not going to get the
reward? It's all so, but it's, oh God, it's so funny. It's just such, I don't know, this is when you are, if you're Whitest Kids fan, this is when you remember oh yeah, this is Zach Kreger's background.
Yeah.
It just does make me sad though, because I feel like this character would have been such a good Trevor Moore character.
Or even the dad.
Oh,
Alex's dad.
Yeah. Who I believe is another Whitest Kids
I didn't see that when I looked, because that was my assumption.
He looks so much like one of the other guys. He looked a lot like him,
yeah.
He looks like a sketch comedy guy. Yeah. And he's so good as this loving father.
I love those scenes in Alex's segment with him and his dad. I thought are so good.
It's such a contrast to the relationship that you glean Archer has with his son, where he was afraid to say I love you. Alex's dad drops him off at school. Alex says I love you first, and then his dad says it back.
There's one of the guys that I thought that was, and it's not him.
Oh no, it just looks like him.
It just looks like him. Yeah.
I love this guy playing Alex's dad so much. He just the way he communicates with his son, he clearly cares so much about him.
He feels like he came out of a 90s movie.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. There's a big time kind of idyllic 90s sitcom dadness to those scenes, I feel like. Yeah.
It's during Marcus's segment, which is on the shorter side, but that's when we finally get to meet Gladys in person because she walks into his office.
Yeah.
And his secretary is very confused about the appearance here.
Yeah. His secretary, I noticed her shirt has like a bunch of animals all over it. When I was already catching on to like this weird animal motif, her shirt is just a blouse with like a bunch of like jungle animals on it, which I thought was kind of cool. But then here comes Gladys. And I mean, she's incredible. Like, what to say?
Yeah, Amy Madigan, incredible in this role. So funny, and then later so
scary,
threatening and scary.
Yeah.
Here she says she's not the legal guardian. She's watching over the parents who are ill. She says with a touch of consumption. Is that just like a hint to how old she may be?
I think so, yeah.
Because she's a witch, I'm assuming she's older than she looks, maybe a few centuries old.
Yeah, it's like a double hitter because one, like, consumption is such an old-timey way to refer to tuberculosis, and two, like, no one gets tuberculosis anymore. Like, that's really not a thing.
And give it a few years. I'm sure we'll bring it back.
I'm sure we're gonna bring it back. I'm sure it's gonna come back, but yeah.
Doesn't Marcus too say like, is that tuberculosis? Like,
yeah.
He was like, I'm not sure what that is. I thought it was something from the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Marcus is so fun and cute. I love his little shopping segment when we see the other side of the conversation that he's having on the phone with Justine, him and his husband, I assume, picking out groceries for their big night at home.
I know, like different like cereals.
Yeah, it's like, do you want these Fruity Pebbles or these other Fruity Pebbles?
Yeah,
and then
they're so cute.
They get home for just a night in watching nature documentaries. He has a tray of just like carrot sticks and chips and all the hot dogs. And as his husband is like bringing this tray in, and Marcus is sitting in a chair in the living room, and he's just like, give me with his fingers.
Oh my God.
It's so real.
I'm just like, we know this couple.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing because Gladys shows up to his house and asks to come in for some water.
Yeah.
And he initially is trying to say no.
I did notice this.
But his husband comes to the door and is like, oh, no, of course you can. And I think a lot of this movie, I saw someone say this online, has a lot to do with, like, people behaving in a way, and it's kind of like Speak No Evil, the original. Mm-hmm. People behaving in a way to avoid conflict, to avoid making other people uncomfortable. Justine gets reprimanded for actions that might make students or parents feel uncomfortable. Josh Brolin, when he hits up Justin Long, I think can be put in that same bucket here. The stranger is invited to their home, inside their home, because like it would be rude not to. She seems like she's in need. And
well, to your point about Brolin talking to the wife and being handsome, I think that plays a factor with Justin Long too. Like he is this like older, handsome, rugged contractor, taller, bigger, stronger.
Yep.
And Justin Long is Justin Long.
Yep.
You know, attractive guy, whatever, but like not Josh Brolin, you know. And I think that there is an intimidation kind of element to that. You know, so I think that absolutely fits into what you're saying.
Yeah, and this person who was saying it online was talking about how the people who are actually getting stuff done are the ones who are willing to buck the system, be more aggressive or abrasive, and not care about these systems. Justine, even though she is being outcast as like the town witch, is still taking steps to like look after Alex, trying to find what he's doing. Archer obviously taking the initiative to look things into his own, even though the police are telling him, don't, we've got this covered. Like, what do you know that we don't? There's nothing. And lo and behold, he can find out a lot of things.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say she has to be invited in.
Yeah, I did have that thought too.
Yeah.
But no, she does get invited in, gets a bowl of water. I love the like,
yeah.
I don't even try to justify it anymore.
A bowl of water. And it's like, I mean, again, like, are you going to be like, no, that's weird? Like, of course you're going to accommodate this bizarre request.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of, this is that thing I was telling you about. I forget what the name of it is, but there's these like self-help classes you can take for, I think, to get over like rejection sensitivity, where you go and you're given like you basically like are given like tasks to do, where you go and make requests that are kind of like that, where they're like nothing harmful or nothing that's gonna like get anyone in trouble, but are just weird enough or just annoying enough, and it's to get you, the person who's requesting it, over the feeling of like being told no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Expecting a no.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I forget what exactly this like technique is called, but it just reminded me of that. Like going to Starbucks and ordering a bowl of water would be like a perfect thing for that kind of class, because they would be like, no, and then receiving that rejection and realizing it's not the end of the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this is when we first get to see Gladys's magic at work. It uses a stick. It
love
uses a
it.
personal possession. She cuts herself to have blood involved in this magic. Man, this kill is so uncomfortable.
It is. It's really brutal.
For as funny as this movie is, this is a very upsetting, disturbing moment, especially the fact that it's coming from his husband.
Yeah.
Like 1 second they're eating chippies
They're
together.
little matching shirts.
In their matching shirts,
Yeah.
and 2 minutes later, his husband is attacking him and bashing his skull in, and the repetitiveness of it, and just the brutality, and there's no music on the soundtrack. It's just the sound effect of his skull caving in with these headbutts. It's so disturbing and so upsetting, and Gladys is just sitting
While
there
she's
watching
just
it.
cleaning up after herself.
Yeah. And it also is an interesting way to show why Marcus looks the way he does at the end of Archer's segment when he hones in on Justine.
When
like
he's all bloody.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's like his face is just like covered in blood.
Yeah.
Those eyes, man.
The eyes are so creepy. I don't get how they do that to everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just an acting thing, if they're just bulging those eyes out as well as they can.
I wonder.
It's gotta be
like tape or
I don't,
something.
I don't know, because like Smile, those smiles are just a well-directed smile.
I
and
have
it
a
looks
feeling
unnatural,
it's
but
probably just eye tape or something. Literally, and maybe if it's something holding their eyes open, maybe or being erased, and I don't know.
yeah,
It's creepy as fuck.
it is.
Because
But
all the articles about the makeup in this that I saw were all about Gladys, and I was
Sure.
like, how are their eyes like that though?
That's an outrageously effective.
Yeah, it's
however
really
they do
groovy.
it, great job.
But after his husband is killed, she turns him against Justine. I love the quick montage of him running through all these different little vignettes in town. Runs through a baseball game where we get another what the fuck?
Because
So
you
good.
just know if they didn't show that montage, people online would be like, did no one like stop this random guy running covered in
No one would,
blood?
dude. He's
No one-
terrifying.
Yeah,
You
no one would
just
want.
fucking
Everyone would
back
be like,
up,
oh
man.
no, yeah, exactly.
And then, he catches up to the gas station and resumes that scene where, like, the gas station attendant tells Justine to get out of his store. And she's like, fucking help me.
Yeah.
So good. Archer saves Justine in this moment, even though a few minutes prior he was, still at her and accusing her. I love that that's what brings them together, is witnessing this very traumatic event as Marcus chases down Justine when she drives away and runs through an intersection and gets hit by this car. God, dude, it's like the fucking Smile demon. Like, that woman, she's gonna get the woman driving the car who hit Marcus.
She's got the smile demon now.
That's a Smile spinoff
That's
right
such
there.
that's such the beginning of a Smile movie for sure.
Like, literally it is,
I mean,
yeah.
that's basically Smile too, but yeah, for real.
It's a nasty death for Marcus, man.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
I know.
That
yeah.
sucks.
Got a Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
And then, Alex's segment is the final one, and we get it kind of resets the movie. It takes it back to the beginning as like, here is all the information, everything that happened from the perspective of that kid.
Damn this performance.
I
This
know.
kid,
He's so
oof,
good.
the whole cast is great, and kid actors, it's maybe more difficult for them, or at least finding the right one, and this one is very
so
good.
good, yeah.
So much of the movie hinges on his performance, and it's he nails it.
I mean, he's got that weird, like, almost adult in a kid body feel, which you need for this character, because it's like, this is, like, that's such a key part of Alex, is this is, like, kid who's forced to grow up overnight kind of thing, where he's taking care of his parents and living under the rule of this witch that moved in. Yeah.
And we already see, even before Gladys arrives, who is apparently his mom's aunt.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yep. don't know how she found them. If she's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
If we're going with the assumption that she's older than she looks, then yeah, she's not going to be their aunt.
I think it's got to be a thing where she's
kind of
got
magic
It's
thing.
a family line
it's
thing.
yeah, or it's just she shows up and she has like a mental thrall over you. You know, like
Yeah.
it's got to be something like that.
Yeah, because the dad mentions that none of them really know her that well, but
Right.
she shows up late one night and is able to weave her way in. Yeah, we see that Alex, even before Gladys shows up, he's bullied. He has no friends, so it makes him a prime target for this. He has no one to talk to about this.
Yeah, I like that we see him in school. It's the lesson on parasites,
Mm-hmm.
and she's talking about tapeworms. She says they're gross. They eat your food. That's later. That's what's happening in the house. He's like having to feed his parents.
And that's what Gladys
food,
is
and
doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gladys is like feeding off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then also right after that scene, there's the kid. It's Matthew, right, who's mocking him. God,
Yeah.
Matthew's such a little asshole.
Little fucker.
But Matthew's mocking him. He's just repeating everything he says, and it made me think of a cuckoo, which a cuckoo is has like almost is a cuckoo considered a parasite or like a
Probably not
I forget what you
technically,
call
but
that kind of animal relationship, but that's where they like kick out the eggs,
yeah.
right?
But that's what I thought of.
yeah, Alex quickly learns that Gladys has enthralled his parents when he doesn't get a ride home, and instead of taking a ride from a teacher who offers, he just walks home. It looks like he lives pretty far. He goes through a few different districts and winds up at home where his parents are just sitting at the table, and Gladys makes a demonstration to show how powerful she is by making them stab themselves in the face with forks. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Repeatedly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is such a scary Gladys moment, but I do love how she tells Alex, like, watch. Are you watching? Like, make sure you're watching. And he does. And I think that by doing so, he sees exactly the steps she takes to take this control so that later on in the movie, at the end, he knows how to do it to take control away from her and sick those kids on her.
I just love like neighborhood witch type thing.
Yeah.
It's so great. I just love, again, like her styling. She's not like classic witch.
Sick, weird old lady, frail.
Yeah, well, she's like cartoon character. She's like, I feel like so many cartoons when we were kids would have episodes where it's like a family reunion and like the weird aunt's always there who
Oh,
wants to
yeah,
pinch
for
everyone's
sure.
cheeks.
Yeah, I feel like a
she's-
Rugrats or something.
Yeah,
like
like
that.
she's that character.
The
and-
exaggerated makeup and everything.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And like my dad would always talk about growing up, there was like a lady that lived on his block that all the kids like believed was a witch because she did like spells and shit. Like I'm sure it was like old country shit, like just I don't know what. And then too, just the mannerisms of the parents in this scene is like so horrifying. Just their weird monotone and going back to, Zach talking about what about this movie's really personal for him and this movie being a lot about addiction and alcoholism and the idea of like, we keep mentioning the parasites thing and just this idea of like a substance or something unnatural being introduced to a loved one's body and making them act in a way that isn't them.
Changing them entirely.
Especially if you're a
personality-wise, yeah.
child. And how do you reconcile that with, well, I know who this person is, but then this thing happens to them and they change.
Yeah.
I love too the idea of a witch as the cause of something unexplainable in a community. That like going back to like, witch trial stuff, folklore stuff of like, we don't know why these kids are being lost, school shootings, COVID, whatever, people disappearing from your community for whatever reason. Witch's explanation. I love using that like classic folklore
Like old-timey
element.
thing that happened in real life
Yeah.
where, unexplained tragedy befalls a community.
Witch did it.
Witch did
A
it.
witch did it.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely it's both I feel like drawing from real life stuff like you said, like Salem witch trial kind of stuff and like fairy tale type
Yeah.
stuff where like a kid goes missing, like a witch ate them. They went to the woods and a witch lured them to her cottage and she ate them, or like a witch or fairy with like a changeling or something.
Sure, yeah.
But I even think the fairy tale thing, I don't know if either of you noticed, but the school mascot is the Billy Goats. Which is such a fairy tale thing, like the 3 Billy Goats or something.
And I feel like goats are linked with witches, at least now, thanks to Robert Eggers.
Sure, yeah. But just adding to that kind of fairy tale feel.
So she's been sapping energy from the parents, but that's not enough. So she tells Alex to get something from each of the classmates. He does it all in one swoop, grabbing those name
her
tags.
Weird little braids.
Oh, yeah.
I love her braids. Apparently that was a happy accident.
Oh, yeah?
I read in this article. Yeah, I guess like they were making this like this prosthetic for her to wear, and it just had all these stringy hairs, and to keep them from getting tangled, they had them braided up. And so when Zach came in to look at it, he was like, "Oh, these braids are so weird looking. Let's just keep it like that." Because like, who even does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love the resistance to make her like a classic like succubus or like countess type figure, where like she doesn't turn beautiful by sapping the life force from these kids.
No.
That she stays
Like old.
Yeah, old.
Yeah.
That,
she doesn't
like,
turn young and beautiful.
Right. It
she just
doesn't
gets
matter.
more energy.
Right.
She's more pep in her step.
Yeah.
She still has to like wear wigs and a lot of makeup
Yeah.
to make herself look the way she feels.
But she's
more
still
lively.
monstrous. Yeah.
Yeah. With her weird little tiny teeth.
Yeah, right? The teeth were so weird.
Yeah.
So eventually, after Paul has gone in there, she's enthralled him. He comes out and drags James in, so he gets enthralled. She sets up salt lines, which is, a traditional thing. And eventually, when Justine and Archer are scoping out the house, they see Paul's police car outside and then him opening that front door, coming out, just giving one wave for them to come in. And turning around and going inside, and they're like, I guess?
Yeah, very convincing.
Great moment after Justine steps over his salt line. It's the fight scene, the double fight scene. Awesome, exciting, hilarious. Everyone in the theater laughing their asses off as Archer beats the crap out of James, knocks him out. Knocks out. Repeat, like this is Wise Kids, this is sketch comedy. Just the repetition of it, tossing him over furniture, and then he gets back up with the same scream. It's just so fucking funny.
Yeah, I love Paul getting his face peeled.
Yeah, by Justine with a vegetable peeler, disgusting. And then she has to grab his gun and shoot this guy who she obviously had some affection for. And then James gets shot through the head too. He doesn't make it. Damn.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Alex upstairs is able to get a hold of it's the branch with like everything that's got like I'm assuming it's got like all the stuff from the kids, like the name tags and stuff.
He steps over the salt line that Gladys told him not to, and that sends the parents running after him. Why do you think he does that?
I think it was to get them. Wasn't it to like get them away from that
door
room
so he could get in there maybe? Or it's just going back to like bucking the system to try to do something. He was told not to do this, but obviously Gladys is bad, so
for me that was because Alex is a rule follower. He's there's a fear to Alex, I think, in the way that he handles the whole situation, and that was him taking some control for himself and making a choice, not being told what to do.
Yeah. I won't fear following your direction.
Right.
I'm going to do this. He Shining reference, face through the door after hacking through it.
I'll allow it here. It didn't.
It's not the.
It didn't do the tracking shot with the axe.
Yeah.
So I'll allow it.
Panning over as the axe goes in.
Yes, I will allow it. Especially because you also have a thematic tie-in, which it also adds to the you can reference The Shining, where The Shining is so much about alcoholism and like substance abuse. I'm
and
like,
your parent becoming someone they're not.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Great jump scare in the basement when Archer's looking for his son amongst all
What's
these
she
kids.
doing down there? I love it. I
She's
love
just
that
waiting
she's
to scare
down
him.
there.
She's
so dramatic.
Galloping, and then she's like, and
Yeah.
she's smiling while she does it. It's great. I
I
love
love
it.
that she's in that weird pose, too.
Yeah, just like hunched over.
She's such a diva.
It's so funny. And then
She could have been standing like a kid, but she's not.
Yeah.
and she is able to enthrall Archer, and so he attacks Justine. Justine's getting strangled and almost dead, but that's when Alex fucking uses her magic against her, breaks that stick, and she hears
rings
it,
the little bell.
and she's like, "Oh fuck," and just runs. And god damn it, this is one of the most satisfying
It's
endings
so
to
fun.
a movie. I love it so much.
I'm glad
kids
people
chasing
love
her.
it, because I remember when we went to the screening, I was like, "Are people gonna?"
Some people
like
don't.
This?
Some people think
really.
They're like,
people
"Oh,
don't.
I was with it till the end, and then she gets chased by a bunch of kids."
Okay.
Again, you can like what you like or whatever, but to me, this is the most satisfying thing that could possibly happen. It's her control being taken away. It's these weapons that she has been using against the community being turned against her, and just the fucking humor of it. Running through this early morning
This
suburb,
reminds me
it's
of
like
the end of Ferris Bueller.
yeah, but it's like this suburb waking
Yeah.
up. Everyone's having breakfast,
Yeah.
watching the morning news, and she's running through their houses. And then these kids, I need to learn about the stunts and
Apparently,
what was done
it was a
here.
bunch of little people.
It was okay, because obviously you're not sending kids through
breakaway glass.
breakaway glass for
I was
these
like,
shots.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Pretty sure you're not, but we have these long tracking shots, and I was like, are some of those windows just like done in post? But they seem pretty practical. That makes a lot of sense. God, one of the shots near the end of the one girl going through like three, like a door and two
great.
windows, fucking phenomenal. And they finally catch up to her, tackle her to the ground, rip her to pieces, Day of the Dead style, jaw ripped
That jaw,
open.
man. Ooh.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so gnarly.
So good. God, I love it.
I think that sequence, from a filmmaking perspective, is second of any movie I've seen this year, other than the one musical sequence in Sinners.
Yeah.
But Oscar season is coming up, but that sequence was so phenomenal from as a filmmaking sequence, the way that it fit in the movie, all the thematics, everything that we've been talking about, but just like the choreography of it, the shots of we could have a whole nother podcast. We barely really talked about the filmmaking. We could spend another 2 hours talking
know.
about
Yeah,
the
the
filmmaking.
confidence of the camera,
Yeah,
the
the-
Oh
movement,
my God.
The soundtrack, I'm obsessed
the soundtrack, the
with.
music's
I love
great.
all the
Yeah, the
percussion
score's
in it.
insane.
I just love how much like drum music there is, because drums to me are like if a kid's gonna play an instrument, it's gonna be a drum. Like a drum is like you think of a kid banging on I just feel like that's gotta be such an intentional choice.
Sometimes the music sounds like scissors snipping,
Yeah.
which are used a lot in the movie.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. Love that, she dies and so her spells are broken. Alex gets some form of his parents back, but not really. They're still pretty catatonic.
Well, they're in a home somewhere.
Yeah, and he goes to live with a real aunt.
Yeah.
Archer follows the path of destruction. Love the family. He was like, hey, there's a man in our house. So good. And he finds the kids who are also... Because in the beginning, in the voiceover, the little girl says these kids disappeared and they never came back. And so you assume maybe they were never found. Oh, no, it was metaphorical. They never fully came back. Because it ends with her saying... Some of them are starting to talk again, kinda, but obviously these kids were in that state long enough to where they're just kind of vegetables right now, which is really fucked up. It's like you want them to be okay, you want Alex to have his parents back. It's not like that. That would fuck this community up, dude.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, when something inexplicable happens, it doesned just resolve itself. Good
Really
stuff.
enjoyed this movie.
I really enjoyed this movie.
Such
a
a
lot.
highlight of a very strong year for horror. We've had a lot of really good ones. It's been killing it at the box office, especially Warner Brothers with their horror outings. Love all this, man. We're in good shape with all this. I think we got the lightning round episode next.
Yeah, I
in 2
think
weeks.
next we'll do like a lightning round on some other stuff we've seen.
So many movies,
because a lot
Together. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh God, going that far back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Saw
these movies.
Summer, dude.
that
Hot
you
Saw
saw
Summer.
took up a lot of real estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just let us know what you want to hear us talk about. I'm assuming they'll have to be movies we've already seen. But yeah.
Yeah. Till next time. I'm Chelsea.
I'm James.
And that's Gressel.
Thanks, Gressel.
And this has been the Dead Me Podcast.